Title: Haunted House, a true tale of unexplained horror. In the quiet town of Ravenswood, nestled deep within the woods of New England, there stood a decrepit, old mansion known as the Hartfield House. It was a place that locals whispered about in hushed tones, and many believed it to be cursed. The Hartfield House had a dark history, one that had left a trail of unsettling stories in its wake. I first heard about the Hartfield House from my friend Sarah, who had moved to Ravenswood a few years earlier. She invited me to visit her for a weekend, promising to share the chilling stories that surrounded the house. Curiosity got the better of me, and I accepted her invitation, eager to hear these tales firsthand. As we sat by the crackling fire on a chilly autumn evening, Sarah began to recount her own experience with the Hartfield House. I was intrigued by the stories, so I decided to explore the old mansion one evening, Sarah began. I had heard that strange occurrences happened there, but I brushed them off as mere superstitions. Little did I know, I was in for a spine-tingling encounter. Sarah explained how she had entered the house at twilight, her flashlight cutting through the darkness that shrouded the abandoned mansion. The air felt unnaturally cold, and shadows danced ominously in the corners of the rooms. She crept through the creaking hallways, her heart pounding as she ventured deeper into the house. As I explored, I began to hear faint whispers. Sarah continued, her voice quivering with the memory. At first, I thought it was just the wind, but the whispers grew louder, more distinct. It was as if the very walls were speaking to me. Sarah claimed that the whispers seemed to beckon her toward the basement. She descended a narrow, rickety staircase that led to a dimly lit chamber. In the center of the room, she saw an antique mirror, its surface tarnished with age. As I approached the mirror, I saw something in its reflection that chilled me to the bone, Sarah whispered, her eyes filled with terror. There was a figure standing behind me, a shadowy silhouette that should not have been there. I turned around, but there was nothing. Yet, in the mirror, the figure remained, its eyes fixed on mine. With trembling hands, Sarah backed away from the mirror and rushed out of the Hartfield House. She never returned to that forsaken place, but the memory of the sinister figure in the mirror haunted her dreams. As I listened to Sarah's account, a shiver ran down my spine. But she wasn't the only one with a haunting experience at the Hartfield House. She introduced me to several other locals who had their own terrifying tales to tell. One man, Tom, recounted how he had visited the mansion with a group of friends one Halloween night. They had gathered in the grand ballroom, where an ornate chandelier hung from the ceiling. As they laughed and joked, the chandelier suddenly began to swing violently, as if an unseen force was shaking it. It was like something out of a horror movie, Tom said, his voice quaking. We ran out of there as fast as our legs could carry us, leaving our Halloween party behind. Another woman, Emily, described how she had once lived in a house across the street from the Hartfield House. She claimed that on countless nights she had seen eerie lights flickering in the mansion's windows, even though the place had been abandoned for years. The lights would dance and flicker, Emily said, her eyes distant with the memory. It was as if the spirits trapped within were trying to communicate with the living. As the night grew darker, Sarah led me to the nearby cemetery, where the Hartfield family was buried. The headstones were weathered and moss-covered, their inscriptions barely legible. Sarah explained that the Hartfields had been a wealthy and influential family in Ravenswood, but their fortunes had declined after a series of tragedies. Legend had it that the family had dabbled in the occult, conducting dark rituals within the walls of their mansion. Some believed that their malevolent actions had cursed the house, trapping their tormented spirits within its confines. As we stood among the tombstones, a bone-chilling wind rustled through the trees, sending a shiver down my spine. I couldn't help but wonder if the tales of the Hartfield House were more than mere superstitions. The stories I had heard that night had left an indelible mark on my psyche, and I knew that I would carry them with me, like a ghostly presence for the rest of my life. The Hartfield House remains a place of mystery and dread in Ravenswood, a testament to the unexplained and the paranormal. Those who have dared to venture into its dark corridors have returned with tales of terror, each story more chilling than the last. Whether it is truly cursed or merely a product of overactive imaginations, one thing is certain. The Hartfield house remains a place of mystery and dread in Ravenswood, a testament to the unexplained. The Hartfield house remains a place of mystery and dread in Ravenswood, a testament to the unexplained and the paranormal. Those who have dared to venture into its dark corridors have returned with tales of terror, each story more chilling than the last. Whether it is truly cursed or merely a product of overactive imaginations, one thing is certain: the Hartfield house will continue to cast its shadow over the town of Ravenswood, a place where the line between the living and the dead grows thin, and the whispers of the past echo in the present. Subscribe to Fearful Fables for more stories.